Imagine a scene from a science fiction movie where a massive spaceship is about to collide with a fiery inferno. But this is not Hollywood. This is the real-life drama of the US Navy's encounter with Anatan's volcano in 1943. The only time the US Navy engaged in battle with a volcano. This event was a clash of human ingenuity against the unforgiving power of nature. As the US Navy's forces approached the small island of Anatan in the Mariana Islands, they were on a mission to capture a strategic airbase. Japanese forces had been using the island as a staging ground for further attacks on the US and its allies. But little did the Navy know, they were about to face an enemy unlike any other, a volcano that had been erupting for weeks, spewing lava and ash into the air. The US Navy's plan was to soften up the island with a series of airstrikes, and then send in a team of Marines to secure key positions. But as the troops hit the beaches, they were met with a scene from hell. The volcano, which had been quiet for a few days, suddenly erupted with a deafening roar, spewing molten lava and ash into the air. The Marines, caught off guard, were forced to take cover as the volcano's fury raged on. As the battle raged on, the US Navy's forces found themselves facing a foe that was both formidable and unpredictable. The volcano's eruptions were so intense that they could be heard and felt miles away. The ash cloud was so thick that it obscured visibility, making it impossible for the Marines to see more than a few feet in front of them. And the lava flows were so hot that they could melt steel, posing a deadly threat to the troops. Despite the odds, the US Navy's forces persevered, using their ingenuity and training to overcome the volcano's fury. They employed innovative tactics, such as using the ash cloud to their advantage to outmaneuver the volcano and secure key positions. And in the end, it was the US Navy's bravery and determination that emerged victorious, securing the island and paving the way for further victories in the Pacific. But as the dust settled, the US Navy's forces knew that they had faced something truly unique, a battle against nature itself. And as they looked out at the still smoldering volcano, they knew that they had been forever changed by the experience. The encounter with Anatan's volcano was a testament to the US Navy's skill and determination, but also a reminder of the awe-inspiring power of nature. Battling the beast. Imagine the raw power of nature, unleashed on a scale that dwarfs human endeavors. The US Navy's engagement with Anatan's volcano in 1943 was a battle for the ages, a clash of titans that would leave an indelible mark on history. The volcano's fury was a force to be reckoned with, an eruption so intense that it created a massive ash cloud that threatened to engulf the US Navy's ships and personnel. The consequences were dire, ships crippled by the ash, sailors choking on the acrid dust, and the very fabric of the environment torn apart. Despite the danger, the US Navy's forces pressed on, undeterred by the perils that lay before them. They unleashed a barrage of firepower, using their ships and aircraft to try and subdue the volcano's fury. But the beast would not be easily tamed. The battle raged on, with the US Navy suffering heavy damage and casualties as they fought to overcome the volcano's relentless onslaught. As the ash cloud continued to spread, the US Navy's ships found themselves navigating treacherous waters, dodging the deadly pyroclastic flows that threatened to engulf them at any moment. It was a desperate bid to contain the disaster, with the sailors pushing themselves to the limits of human endurance. And yet, even as the volcano seemed to be gaining the upper hand, the US Navy refused to yield, their bravery and determination, a testament to the indomitable spirit of the American fighting force. Imagine being on a ship, surrounded by the roar of the enemy, only to realize that it's not an enemy ship, but a volcano. Welcome to the bizarre and terrifying story of the US Navy's battle with a volcano. As the US Navy's personnel reflected on their harrowing experience, they realized that the battle with Anatan's volcano was a pivotal moment in history, one that taught them the importance of respecting the power of nature. The aftermath of the battle was marked by significant consequences for the US Navy and its personnel. The eruption's fury left a trail of destruction, with ash and debris blanketing the surrounding islands. The Navy's ships were battered by the extreme weather conditions, and many personnel suffered from respiratory problems due to the toxic ash. The US Navy's encounter with the volcano served as a stark reminder of the dangers of underestimating the power of nature. Today, the US Navy and other military forces continue to learn from the lessons of Anatan, incorporating new technologies and strategies to mitigate the risks associated with volcanic eruptions. From advanced weather forecasting to specialized equipment designed to withstand extreme conditions, the US Navy is better equipped to handle the challenges of volcanic eruptions. As we reflect on the US Navy's battle with the volcano, we're reminded of the awe-inspiring power of nature and the importance of respecting the environment. The story of the US Navy's encounter with Anatan serves as a powerful reminder of the delicate balance between human endeavors and the natural on board the USS New Mexico. A crew of seasoned sailors was preparing for the mission of a lifetime. But little did they know, their greatest challenge wouldn't come from the enemy. It would rise from the depths of the Pacific itself. In May 1943, the USS New Mexico was anchored off the coast of Anatan, a small volcanic island that had been erupting for weeks. As the crew went about their daily routine, a sudden swell of heat and flames engulfed the horizon. The volcano had awakened, spewing forth a wall of molten lava that threatened to engulf the ship. The sailors were in a state of panic as the volcano's fury intensified. Sulfur dioxide filled the air, causing skin burns and respiratory problems. The ship's superstructure began to crack under the intense heat, and the crew scrambled to secure loose equipment. Amidst the chaos, a crew member spotted a giant pyroclastic cloud bearing down on the ship, a deadly mixture of ash, gas, and rock that could incinerate everything in its path. The USS New Mexico was running out of time, and the volcano was just getting started. Imagine being in the middle of a fierce battle, bullets flying everywhere, and suddenly realizing the enemy has a 3,000-foot-tall gun. That's exactly what happened on May 6, 1943, when the USS New Mexico, a US Navy battleship, was caught off guard by the fury of the Pacific's most infamous volcano, Mount Makushyn. Located on the Aleutian Islands, this behemoth of a mountain had been dormant for centuries, but it was about to unleash a terror that would test the mettle of the US Navy's finest sailors. As the New Mexico's crew struggled to comprehend the magnitude of the disaster unfolding before them, they faced a daunting question. How do you battle a force of nature that's as unpredictable as it is deadly? The answer, much like the volcano itself, was shrouded in mystery. The USS New Mexico, a battleship, had faced the fury of the Pacific's most infamous volcano. But what does this event reveal about the complexities of war and the unpredictable nature of the environment? As we reflect on the lessons learned from this historic battle, one thing becomes clear. The line between nature and combat is thinner than we often assume. In the aftermath of the USS New Mexico's encounter with Anatan Volcano, the US Navy realized that they needed to reassess their approach to naval warfare. For too long, they had focused on the enemy as the primary threat, overlooking the potential impact of natural disasters on their operations. This event marked a turning point in the Navy's understanding of the importance of situational awareness and contingency planning. The lessons learned from Anatan Volcano extend far beyond the confines of the Pacific theater. They serve as a reminder that even the most advanced military forces can be vulnerable to the unpredictable forces of nature. This realization should prompt us to reevaluate our assumptions about the role of technology and strategy in modern warfare. Can we truly prepare for the unexpected, or are we forever at the mercy of the natural world? As we ponder these questions, we're left with a haunting thought. What other unseen dangers lie in wait for us, hidden beneath the surface of our seemingly predictable world?